We have a game on our hands, ladies and gents. It's 1-1 between Gambit and KRÜ after a send time back on the desk with Ryan and Achilles. What a performance from KRÜ and the way they managed to close the game out.
Yeah, this is the kind of step up that we were looking for. I mean, really strong start for them in Breeze. End up getting knocked back. Saw a lot of people talking on Twitter, on Reddit, whatnot, saying like, surely this cracks their mental. Surely they won't be able to come back into this, and we end up with getting a 2-0. If you thought that, you haven't been paying attention to this team. They are infallible. Their mental cannot be broken. They come back in. They establish a 7-5. That still concerned me, but they pushed it across the finish line in clean fashion.
And exploited the problems with Gambit. Just a slow execute on attack without a duelist. It's even harder to find the entry, but it's just those typical KRÜ standing away, make it a gauntlet. If Gambit are going to run down the timer before they actually execute, let's make them stress out a bit more. None better than the Mazine Odin.
I love it. We've had, what is it, Odin Mentor?
Odin
Coldin.
Mentor.
We've had Coldin. Now we got the Mazine Odin. I know Mitch said we can't, you know, give him all the credit on that Odin, but I want to. I love this gun.
Of course
and
you do.
Yeah, of course. You guys have been on the receiving end of my Odin a few times, but what a time to step it up. We speak about Kesnir being the main win condition for this team, but we've seen Nag step up and now him as well.
Yeah, definitely. You want all of these moments, but it's when you get onto this defense, this is what they like to do. As Gambit are executing, they just break them apart, and you're going to see it highlight after highlight. Every time an execute is attempted from Gambit, it's shut down. The spike was planted a couple of times. I think it was the pistol, and one more, and that was the Nagset clutch in, I think it was round 18. That is the second retake that they've managed out of all 3 of the series that they've played on Ascent. They just do not want you to plant the spike, and it works perfectly against Gambit.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about the comfort zone of KRÜ's mentality when they're being 1-0 down. I mean, according to the script now, Achilles, they should be even stronger on the next map. Do you believe in that?
I do. I'm fully behind it. I am a believer. And I cannot be silenced. I think that they have this momentum swing. I mean, Gambit, they still are a formidable opponent. I want to say that this is going to be any kind of wash. This is very much down to the wire. But KRÜ have been in this position so many times, and they've been able to come out on top time and time again. Gambit, it's time to show, are you, back-to-back championship worthy? Like, can you defend that title that you established from Masters Berlin? If they can get through this series, look dominant in the last map of Bind, which they should feel comfortable on, then maybe they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about Mazino already, but let's take a look at the Verizon high-speed moment here. I don't think this was the Odin round, Ryan. He actually managed to do this with a Phantom.
One of the few times, and you're going to see that KRÜ meat grinder work it in, like 20 seconds left on the clock. This is up against a lower buy, but this is the kind of stress that Gambit have to deal with, and Mazino, he almost had more kills on his defense than all of Gambit on attack. He had 14, Gambit total had 18. Like, that is a shutting the door in the face for Gambit, and considering that Gambit's bind doesn't look that comfortable from what we've seen, the problem is, what have KRÜ done to adjust? Who's playing what? Especially, if I see Klaus on that Viper, I'm going to be really happy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Klaus is somebody who we were looking to step up a bit. He had a couple decent moments, but for the very beginning of this map was especially looking a little bit shaky. So the more that ground that he finds to stand on, the more comfortable he looks, the more worrisome it's going to be for Gambit overall.
Well, let's talk about that last map. I think this could be the most interesting map when it comes to like dissecting how both teams are going to do, and especially, Ryan, when it comes to the agents.
Yeah, this is the kind of expectation that you have on certainly Gambit that have played similar compositions throughout their time. You are going to see, at the very least, Nats go back to that Viper. The problem is, I think in this series, Nats has just been a non-factor for the most part. Whether that's just an underperformance from him when it relies on it, but I think it's more that KRÜ go, Nats is over on B, let's go A. They just take him out of the game, take him out of the server, and X10 did that on Ascent as well against Gambit. It was nice to see KRÜ do the same. It's just going to be hard to do that on Bind.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it at least because it was the moment that my heart broke back at Masters Berlin. Vision Strikers kind of getting shut out of things. Nats just running all over the place with Bind, having so much control, playing so rat-like. That is got to be a little bit concerning for KRÜ, but he has to have the right reads. He has to make sure that he's putting himself in the right position to catch them off guard, which so far didn't really happen too much on Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Bind for KRÜ, they're on a 10-game win streak. They haven't lost here for a hot minute, but we haven't seen them play this map in this tournament yet. And I'm going to maybe disregard the last time they played this map because they didn't play with their full squad and we had Mazzino play on the Rays for some reason. But in a way, Ryan, that they defer to quite a bit of an older school composition as well. Not as old school as Ascend as such, but definitely a little bit more different in comparison to Gambit.
Yeah, you just got like the one controller, if I remember correctly, when typically you see like a Viper, which is what we have seen Mazzino play in the past. Again, I'd rather see him on the Sova, the Sky, where he can have a bit more impact. But Delzik as well has played Brimstone in the past.
I want to see.
I would love to see KRÜ using double controller with a Brimstone on bind and potentially knocking out the almost out EMEA-ing the EMEA team with the Brimstone. I'm sure Bone Cold would enjoy watching that. But it really is a case of we haven't seen KRÜ play this map since they've adjusted what roles players are playing for this team. What is it going to be now? And it's going to be pretty difficult for Gambit to prep for this unless they scrimmed very early in the tournament before they even knew that this was a possible matchup.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm actually a fan of the Brimstone. I like the Brimstone Sky Viper.
It lines up nicely though. It's just the tempo, right? Like Brimstone is so good at like executing very quickly. Bearing in mind the KRÜ are defending first, it's really now a case of, all right, Gambit on attack looked very washy, they looked very scared, they weren't aggressing as much, they were leaving things late. Just push that to its potential. Maybe that's why Astra could be a good pick for Delzik. He started to really come into form on Ascent just from playing outside the smoke, being really difficult in those A-main chokes. But Brimstone, with that molly, you can still do that on the defense.
Yeah, thanks for the fist bump, Chronicle. I did fist bump him back, but he can't see me. But in terms of the other agents as well, you know, we've seen many faces of Kesnit. And here, if they don't change anything, you know, from the last time we saw them back at Masters here at Kilios, Kesnit on the Rays. What do you make of that? Especially given that Defo is probably going to be on the Jet.
I mean, I 100% love it for them. I mean, you think back to just what not yesterday, but 2 days ago, getting themselves into the semifinal. A big part of it was the paint shells, that big finisher. Nade kill into Showstopper, gets a kill, gets the reset on the paint shells, and then just puts them out of it. I am very happy for KRÜ's chances to see him go back over to that Raze. It's something that he's extremely comfortable on. So whether it's that or the Reyna again, I think that he's still going to be feeling in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I just want to see what kind of space is leveraged and what kind of form Nats is going to find himself in, because I think this is the map where Nats' playstyle has been pushed the most. He's always said about, like, because he went from such a niche playstyle to now writing a book on how to play this defensive Viper. What's he going to do differently, if anything at all?
Well, we are into the Prime Gaming Agent select, and Delzik has done us a favor by locking in the Brimstone. I absolutely love this, but you know, we didn't really want to read too much into that 13-0 against Ascent. But Achilles, how much do we read into that 13-5 against Vikings for Gambit?
It's definitely not a good look for them. I mean, they were able to show us that they could persevere and bounce back, but they cannot have a similar map at all as what we saw from Vikings. So hopefully Gambit, coming off the back end of that series, said, okay, it's really time to workshop this map again. Let's get it back into our Masters Berlin form so that we can, you know, take somebody out if it does come down to that map. If they haven't been able to put too much attention on it for whatever reason, then you have to be very terrified at the moment for the side of Gambit. But they have shown that they are a team that knows how to prepare. They know what their weaknesses are, and they look to tune those up in between their series. Just a question of whether or not KRÜ saw enough during that Viking series and whether or not they could exploit those weaknesses that they saw.
Well, it's also interesting to see that Mazzino and Klaus have done a switcheroo with the Sky and a Viper. Well, this is it. This is the final map. The winner will be going through to the final, and the loser will be heading home. Let's see which team is going to come out on top. Over to you, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you so much, Sue. It is time to find out who's going to the finals. This is the last map of the semis, and we really couldn't have asked for a better one. A lot of questions coming into Bind, and I'm excited to get some answers, Tom.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the last time they played this, or this would be KRÜ, played this map with their full five was actually when they played against Zeta, which, yeah, that was quite a while ago.
That was a while ago.
You could say. I think they did play and won with a couple of stand-ins in their mix, but I'm not going to take any notice of that whatsoever. A few role swaps here and there, but ultimately the composition is fairly similar. I'm slightly more old school one, still got a big boy Brimmy in there, but it's so impactful on a map like this with what they're able to do with the orbital strike, with the Molotovs, post plants, and the fast fast execute. So I'm excited to see what KRÜ are going to do. They are going to be sticking on that defensive side to start, though.
Obviously, one of the things we'll always mention is Raze combined with Astra, but we're going to have Astra on one team, Raze on the other. Very different duelist comps from both teams, but we know exactly why Defo is on this Jet, and we're about to find out why Kesnet's on the Raze. Kicking it off here. KRÜ on the defensive side, facing a little bit of pressure towards this A site, but it's all just utility removal service from Gambit. They want to pressure, they want to make sure that there's no guaranteed control. Breaking a hole in that wall inside of Bath, for example, means that you cannot turn a blind eye to this part of the map. But then Gambit will slow it down, look elsewhere, and hope that KRÜ have gotten aggressive. But Tom, they haven't. KRÜ are wise to Gambit's tricks. Oh, I like that flash as well, down through B long. Confirms there's no one here, at least for a little moment longer.
Yeah, they got to be careful, though, because, well, it might even be false information. Luckily, the dart almost gives things away a little bit, but it's, again, a bit of a ruse. They're going to fake things back. You can see the spike still sitting just outside A. The ruse hasn't really done anything, though, Mitch. There are still 3 players here, but the extra bit of pressure starts a rotation coming out from KRÜ.
30 seconds left.
It looks like they're going to move back to B. Exactly. That pressure working exactly as intended for Gambit. The dash in for Defo. The space made. The rest of the team soon to follow. There's the flash, but Klaus blinded up, gets away with a double. He goes for more, but Chronicle puts a stop to that. Gambit showing up at least. Moment. Oh, no, he is not. Okay, he did get shot, but the Boombot was about to take him down into a 2 versus 2. Low HP on both players from Gambit. The right clicks. That was a wallbang headshot. Chronicle only barely survives, and oh, Shados doing the best he can, but he won't get away with it in the end. KRÜ open up a 3rd map with a pistol win.
Yeah, it seems to be the first pistol is theirs every single time. The second is Gambit's every single time.
Made a little deal, you know?
The running theme, yeah. They're both friendly teams. I'm sure that they've been having a chat before this one. Of course, a joke for anybody, but anybody who's going to go straight to Reddit.
I just saw the officials rushing the stage, but calm down. It's okay. That was crazy that Klaus got 2. I mean, the power of the right click might be nerfed,
trade's
but
back, though. The fact that Gambit... this is the thing about Gambit I think that we have to talk about pretty much throughout this entire tournament to set this up as a storyline. They have dropped a map in every game they've played. They have won the 3rd map in every game they've played.
Yeah.
So like we saw KRÜ earlier on take a defeat the first match they played in this tournament. Gambit are yet to do so, even though they probably should have done.
They force bought this. Redgar's playing with a stinger. I am very curious. My curiosity is peaked, that is for sure. Trailblazers, KRÜ move back to the site. Now they're kind of trapped in a little bit, and Gambit use those numbers and the weapons, the armor that they've got to take these fights. Opening it up well onto Klaus, the stinger not quite landing, but there's plenty more players here. Mazzino does well to find the first, but Gambit answer back quickly. And swiftly put the advantage into their favor. Kesnet is still on the site, though. That spike, not yet planted, puts Gambit in an awkward spot. They have no idea that he is here. The pressure by Delzik in towards the elbow might be a little bit dangerous. He doesn't know there's a player on the right, but he still checks it and sprays right away. Huge from Delzik, leaving Chronicle still inside of Hookah all alone. He at least has the information now, but they have the numbers.
Oh, the blast back actually pushes him off a little bit, and then Kesnet is there to close out the round. Again, another fight back coming out from KRÜ. It was such a good start from Gambit, but the fact is, those return frags, that double kill coming in again. Delzik, oh, his weight in gold, you could say, worth it, but...
Definitely. And a great read. The fact that he realizes that player didn't fully peek the corner, he gets suspicious, swings around, and then immediately spray transfers. That's exactly what you wanted to see. You can see the stress in the player, in the crowd's faces.
It makes me so happy.
Damn, it feels good.
Just to see a crowd.
They're not here, but it doesn't matter. You know what? Wherever you are, once you're watching, that's all we care.
Slightly one-sided crowd. I doubt there's too many Gambit fans in that one, but... You know,
God, you wouldn't want to be a Gambit fan in there.
Go get... Oh.
Hey, go Shados! Everybody turns. I did that once. Bought the tickets to the wrong stand at a football game. That was...
I definitely believe you.
I did. Yeah, genuinely.
There's no doubt in my mind.
It was terrible.
That is something that you would do.
Yep. I was still loud, though. You know what? And I'm glad that the KRÜ crowd are, too. With 2-0, it's no surprise. Gambit obviously force-bought the previous round, so even though KRÜ only got out with 2 players, that's just fine, because now Gambit taking eco, and you can see that they're playing super slow with these pistols, hoping that they can pressure someone into a fight that is disadvantageous, and Kesnet was kind of obliging for a second.
Yeah, the problem is they haven't managed to get any bathrooms control. And I think they've realized that if they're going to try and win this round, they need to clear this player out. Now, it is a little bit worrying because for Nags getting out of this position now is going to be very difficult. Now, if he manages to get a couple of kills, going down's not going to be too much of a problem, but he's getting hit by shock darts and Defo will clear him almost instantly. Kesnit trying his best to respond and does still have the paint shells, but will be forced at least to fade away. Again, though, Mitch, the time.
That's up close with that Sheriff is caught. Delzik maintaining the control, but as he peeks out, they actually lose 2. With Kesnit going down, things are in threat, but doesn't. Oh, the Seeker used here to find Redguard. Sure, they'll take him down, but we made an excuse for the previous round, which is very valid. The fact that they survived with 2 players was just fine because they came up against a force buy, but Gambit came in here with no shields. Sheriffs all around, and they end up with just 1 player alive. That is not what you want at all. Their economy is under heavy threat, and this bonus round that should have been a bonus is now a full buy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They can almost look to try and reset the economy of KRÜ in a position that it never really looked like it would be possible before. It's going to be some SMGs. They're almost playing this again as a bonus round.
Tom, I really and truly love this. The assumption I made was based on what we see most teams do in this situation. This is the decision I genuinely agree with. Still play it as a bonus.
They're using their ults as well. That's the thing. They can almost look to try and gamble at least a few of the bits of utility that they have. Locking down mid already. Now, information is going to be garnered on the other side. And actually, Defo's going to go pushing in. Mazzino, though, was that from the back of sight? He just spammed a couple of bullets and took the head clean off. There's potential to even try and retrieve that gun.
I'm not even sure we'll have a replay from his POV. I will want to see that one for sure. That was incredible. For Gambit to lose a player, lose a rifle as well. It's down in the open. They don't suspect there's a player up close because he would have picked the rifle, surely. But no, Delzik used it as bait, left the breadcrumbs on the floor and beckoned them in. Chronicle is gone, and it's now a 5 versus 3. KRÜ come into this tournament as underdogs to even make it out of their damn group. And here they are, putting the hurt onto Gambit.
Yeah, now they're patient. You can see on the other side, Gambit hoping that somebody makes a mistake, but the fact is they still have map control out towards B long, so they don't have to do anything too aggressive. They're getting information off of the flashes that they have. And realistically, Gambit either need to just save their guns, which I'm starting to think they might have to do because they have no control.
This is very, very difficult. I don't even know what you do right now if you're Gambit. Save the rifles, I guess, with 15 seconds. There's no way back in. This is a bonus round from KRÜ.
In round 4.
Yeah, well, after losing 4 players in the previous. And they're going to hunt them down because they want the rifles. They're hungry. They don't want to play the next round with the likes of Sheriffs, Spectres, and Guardians. No, they want to take some heads. Make it costly. In the end, they won't find any more, but to be 4-0 up, considering the context of how we ended up here, is absolutely absurd. They saved over... Oh, my God.
Okay, but it doesn't seem to matter what Agent Mazzino's playing. It doesn't seem to matter what gun he has in his hand, even if he has a rifle whatsoever. If he's going to do stuff like that, I feel like he's going to head home and just get knighted for what he has done so far in this tournament.
And it would be justified.
That is an absolute joke. And no doubt we're going to see a pause come through for Gambit. The fact is, I'm getting flashbacks to what we saw in Ascent, where I just don't feel like they're managing to shut out all of that information play. Like, look how long it took them to clear out players in A-Bath in some of the earlier rounds. Then you have constant pressure on Garden. Like, the amount of rounds where Mazzino's just stood there and just been like, well, I can just use a flash now with 30 seconds left and find out if they're even here. That's something that I feel like Gambit need to be shutting down, because if there's this much information for KRÜ, the map's already over.
I'm going to have to get a KRÜ jersey, man. I did not think that would happen coming into this event. I'll be honest with you, man. I look, as much as we say where Gambit stands and all that sort of stuff, I'm a fan, as I think pretty much everyone at this event is. I'm a fan of good Valorant. And that's why I wasn't a fan of KRÜ up until this event, because they did not play good Valorant before. Now, and it was always a question, right? I asked almost every coach I got the chance to, why is LATAM, why is Brazil not as strong as it is in other games? It didn't make sense, but now all they needed was time. They've caught up, and my God, I don't know that caught up's the right word. They've taken the damn lead. They're 4-0 on map 3, looking to eliminate the champions of the previous Masters event. This team was deemed the best in the world, and now KRÜ, who barely scraped quarters, are walking in with a convincing lead. They look like the better team by far in the last 2 maps.
And the bye looks pretty rough now for Gambit. They're trying their best to get themselves a response. Nags is actually just ballsy. He just goes in, takes the orb, walks away. No problems. Again, they've managed to hold on to this control early, but this time Gambit are adapting. They're trying to shut out what has been a lot of heavy aggression onto B and waiting to see if anybody pushes out of hookah.
The waiting game for KRÜ has been impressive as well on this defensive side. Coming into this with Klaus still on a Spectre is almost a hilarious sight considering the sequence of events that led us to here. With a minute left on the clock, Gambit have no control. This passive play that typically up against LATAM teams would work perfectly. If you know one thing about South American FPS games, they like to push you. They like to get aggressive. And we talked about KRÜ. We've heard it on the desk, how they love to take the fight to you on this defensive side. But look at them. They're just sat down. They're saying, Gambit, you want to run the clock down? No problem, baby. It's in our favor.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we're getting down to that late round spot. This time it is looking like a B hit, but look at the rotation already coming. Kesnet looking to try and bolster up this defense. They have utility to try and pull them back. But what is that from Nads? He just completely eliminates Klaus. Mazzino in the corner will eventually be cleared. Still, though, there's a multitude of players on this site.
Oh, he was ready for the peek up top. Does well to at least eliminate Shados. Nax in with one before he falls. It's all left on to Delzik. He's fighting inside the snake bite. Receiving double damage from every shot, but nothing landed. Gambit will spread out. Chronicle on his way to play post plans. 2 shock darts still available. He's now on long. Last spotted inside of hookah. Delzik is really not in a good spot. No information to play off. And as he taps this, there's the peek, the tag, the double tag, but Delzik's still alive. The round is under threat. I don't think he's going to be able to get this one. Not with 2 players still alive, not with the angles they have. He does his damn best. He's being conscious of every flank potential, but ultimately with no information on Redgar, he just couldn't do anything. Feels bad for Delzik, but Gambit finally get that first round on the board.
Yeah, they're going to do it with at least a couple of players and an upgraded weapon as well. It has to be noted that Chronicle went into that round with just a pistol. So, it's the combination of utility. The fact that they used that Hunter's Fury, I think it actually tags up the first player, gives Nats the free kill, and then we've just had this combo again. You see the Gravwell pulling them into position, the flashes over the top to leave them blind. It was a solid execution from Gambit. Again, though, a late one on the board. And now we're going to see how the adaptation comes through, because there is plenty of money available for KRÜ, and they've got some pretty strong ults online.
I'm pretty interested in the defense side of KRÜ and how they're going to condition Gambit, because currently they've just allowed that slow default play to run the clock down for last second executes. They've kept all of their utility as well, which is the most important part, really. Coming into that, they had their Molly on Delzik, they had the nade on Kesnet, but now they even have ultimates to play with. And with the likes of a Showstopper and an Orbital Strike, that will make them feel even more comfortable in running the clock down. Gambit cannot afford to leave a 20 to 30 second exec in, or they will not be able to plan. Plain and simple, with an Orbital Strike, the round will be over.
Look at the late wall. They left it quite a while just because hookah hasn't really been challenged for. I think it could be lack of a raise, but instead they now use this to try and take control in. It's an aggressive push, and Defo actually has to dash back through the teleporter. Now again, we see this extra utility being placed. Still a couple of players here, and they could take that risk because of the res. And now Delzik, he wants to try and hold on to this control. If he can get rid of Redgar, it becomes tough.
Well, the Orbital Strike ready in Delzik's hand. We said 30 seconds left as they move in towards the site. They've got to take him down. There's the Orbital Strike. Delzik just about manages to get it down. Delays a little more time. Showstopper comes out as well. Gambit are scared to go for the plant. They're scared to go near the site. Kesnet eventually firing in. He'll find nothing. It lands just outside the door, leaving Defo alive on this off angle, but the spike still hasn't been planted, and they are running low on time. Nats doing his best to buy them the space, but eventually he has to just stick it, and with his teammate down, they just need to rush him. Perfectly handled by KRÜ. It is 5-1.
I have absolutely no idea how Delzik uses his Orbital Strike, turns around, and still manages to kill Redgar. There just seem to be so many high-impact plays coming through just moments apart. The Pika, what is that from Klaus? I didn't even see that at the time. This kill still makes no sense. Redguard's literally watching for him. Then you have to bear in mind as well, this was a round where the opener went the way of Gambit.
Yes.
They found that initial frag. Sure, there was a res coming through, but that still bought them time to take space on the other side. KRÜ at the moment are playing out of their minds. And look at this stinky buy coming through from Gambit. They've got a pistol in there. They've got an SMG, but they do have a Viper's Pit.
Yeah, and remember, in the previous round, KRÜ, sure, they got away with it. It came close. It came down to the wire, and they used a res, a showstopper, and an orbital strike.
Yes.
That's a lot of ultimates thrown through all at once. Big commitment, but it gets them the round, puts Gambit on the back foot economically, and if that gets KRÜ 6, that's more than worthwhile. Chronicle, he was ready for it, but the timing was a little bit off. Nags peaking at the perfect moment to take him down. And with that, a rifle lost. Gambit have to try and recover this, but they don't seem to have ideas. Again, it's just this slow wait for them to make a mistake.
I almost wanted them, like, if you're going to do that, have a teammate.
Sure.
Do it together.
Sure.
Have someone who can watch the angle for you. Instead, giving that 1v1 over to someone like Nags, you know he wants to take those fights. You know he wants those individual battles. Klaus, he's going to spot everything out of the side of Gambit. They are looking to try and pressure into this position, but there's counter utility there.
Great snake bite. There's no way you can push through that. The invisible gun coming out. Delzik able to take Nats, and with no more util left, it's all about those raw aim duels, but the time is against them. There's more than enough players of KRÜ to just keep those trades going. Defo needs to go nuclear, and he will get nothing done. 6-1 for KRÜ, the round that we expected them to win. Again, that's off the back of huge ult's commitment in the round before, but Delzik is 2 away from having another orbital strike. 2. Tom, it's been 2 rounds. How is he 2 away?
I'm not exactly sure. I also worry as oh god, it's got even worse. I said the last was a stinky bite. That was an investment, by the way, from Gambit.
Oh, they went too low.
And now they're in a bit of an awkward spot where they're still just going to have to invest what is not a great buy once again. I think this is starting to truly spiral out of control. And sure, Gambit have always been incredible on their defensive sides, but we haven't seen that as much this tournament. Like, it has not been a walk in the park bringing these sort of games back. Sure, they did it a couple of times. We've seen it today. But you can't rely on that.
He was almost riding on top of the drone for a second there. Good kill by Defo.
Good counter.
Early aggression. Mazzino's only good for 1. This is the start that Gambit want in a round like this. They've got the man advantage, and there's rifles to be retrieved. A plant found. Only thing is Nats is down, so that Viper's Pit, which would have basically guaranteed the round, is now no. But Redguard just got headshot by a snake bite. And then taken down immediately. What is happening? KRÜ
Player standing.
absolutely storming the site. Kesnet's found a triple, and Chronicle, do your best with your shock dart. It's not going to be enough. He only finds a Spectre as well to play with, and they're happy to just defuse this in the open. It comes close, but in the end, Kesnet finds 4. 1 away from ulti himself, and this is just an incredible performance. The 7-1 in Latin America's favor.
Yeah, no, we are seeing every player at the moment on KRÜ pop off, and sure, again, this round started excellently. The fast-paced nature of Gambit, countering Nags in the early round, clearing that position, getting another entry onto the site with Mazzino left on his own, and then it was just this retake. Perfectly placed utility to force them out, and then Kesnet, well, if he just lands every shot, there's nothing they can do.
Redguard was still vulnerable from being smacked in the face by a snake bite when he swung, so it made it so much easier. He fell quickly, allowing the second player behind him to be dealt with in the same spray. Man, what a performance by KRÜ. Surprising everyone, but with Nags getting aggressive. That's the first time I think we've seen KRÜ push anything and they get punished, but the trade is there quickly.
Yeah, even when they have players waiting and watching, they manage to find a response. Again, the ultimates look like they're in Gambit's favor. They've got weaponry on the board. Even if the shields are a little bit lower on a couple of players, it's not the end of the world. The fact is, though, they look to try and reset into this A site again, and look how aggressive this positioning is. This is something we've seen quite regularly, is just some portion of the map is being controlled by KRÜ that maybe they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I like a lot of what Gambit are doing, but ultimately, they're not delivering when it comes to a lot of these duels. Oh no, Delzik actually got caught by that Seeker. Now he can't see, but as his vision returns, Shados rounds the corner. The trade quick. With that Viper's Pit down, this gets a lot easier. Redguard's being caught, a spam through the box to eliminate him, but Nats wants to take the fight behind enemy lines. The problem is they can't plant the spike with him here, but it doesn't matter if they take the whole team down. Running in towards the TP. Nats soon to follow. Picks up his orb and he's away. Okay, there's the information for Kesnet and Tom. If he gets 1 kill, Showstopper's online.
Yeah, he's been incredibly clutch already. You can see utility just there to try and deny him, and I was wondering if he'd just try and take the push right through, but there's a second one. The snake bites at least delaying for the moment. Chronicle
32.
actually looks like he wants to try and go for the peak. Timing's going to be absolutely everything here, and as you said, the kill could bring him up to the showstopper, but it's well timed by Gambit. It takes a lot for them to get the second round on the board. A huge play out from Nats, just taking that map control away. But again, if there's an instant response from KRÜ, none of this matters. They still haven't built up much of a bank whatsoever.
Yeah, well, that's very true. I think in this round, they got incredibly lucky. That Viper's Pit was the turning point of it. It just sowed discourse in the lines of their enemies and allowed them to get behind, create angles that otherwise wouldn't have been there. But that won't happen in this round right here. And we need to see another response from Gambit with the Viper's Pit already going down for Klaus.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, you just look at the ultimates built up on the other side. Mizzino's also just one orb away from getting his Seekers. Like, they basically have everything just to crush the economy of Gambit back into the ground. Straight away, we're seeing that pace changing. Actually, we've got to push all the way through the Viper's Pit. Straight through from Nats. He's looking to try and take the fight, and he wins it! Opening jewels coming left, right, and center for Gambit. A huge start in this round. It was looking like this was all KRÜ with everything they had. Maybe not.
Good call by Chronicle there. He puts down his drone. Nats follows it all the way through, paving the way for that off angle to catch them by surprise. Something KRÜ should have been ready for, and now this 2v5 is looking unwinnable. I doubt they're going to save these. At least you're going to be looking for the exits. This could be the way back in for Gambit. They're still only on 3, though. There's a long way to go before this is looking as competitive as we would like. Good shutdown by Nats, at least. Not going to be exited on.
But that's the thing. We're starting to see Nats come online in this map. And if there was anything that would be able to change it, him and Defo are the players I'd probably look towards. Like, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. They are the sort of players that, from any sort of possibility, they can bring themselves back into the map. And with that sort of play, with a sort of plan that works out perfectly, and that's more of what I want to see from Gambit. The other thing as well is, I feel like a lot of the success we've seen from Gambit have been off much faster paced rounds. Like, these slow defaults have given a lot of map control over, and then the utility's just been held. This time, dash into the site, solid flash, Defo with 2 openers, Nats with another, and it's already over. And it's not expected by KRÜ. That's the difference.
Yeah, it really is. And I think for KRÜ, it's a disappointing round for sure, but it's one they can definitely put behind them. Again, I'm loving the fact that this team calls for timeouts whenever there's a hiccup like that. Yeah, they are so far in the lead, as you see there, 7-3, but they're not willing to give Gambit any free rounds. They're not willing to let those kind of mistakes go unpunished. They'll take a breather now, figure out what went wrong in the previous, streamline coming into the next, reset themselves, and look like the scary team that they have been so far. It is unbelievable to think that this is map 3, and they're leading by this much. Honestly, they must feel untouchable because they damn well look it.
Yeah, the worry from my side, though, is the fact that if Gambit get to 5, they can have these incredible defensive halves. And they have. We even saw it earlier on Breeze. We were like, oh, 8-4, it's looking great. Yeah. We could be done with this series. But they didn't get a single round from that point onwards after an 8-4 half. So a 7-5, even an 8-4, it's still very much possible for Gambit. So for KRÜ, they're going to want to try and close out the last couple. Now the bye kind of sucks. We've got a Bucky and we got 4 players ready to push mid.
Look at where he is. Why is Nags on B long?
Oh no, he has still got a Bucky. He sold it, bought it back again.
He's on B long with a Bucky. There's no way. There's no. You'd buy a Marshall, no?
I imagine he's just going to sit there.
Why has Kesman got a Bucky? Well, okay.
I think they're playing with our hearts.
Thank you, boys. Honestly, I've fallen in love with this team, and I was about to have our first quarrel, but luckily, things have gone okay. Nice opening, though. Klaus with the rifle, able to grab 1, and a round like this, 2 to 3 kills, all you can really expect from them.
Yeah, they're trying to juggle them around. Nags at least being able to reclaim some control. Now, I'm looking at the spike. I'd be a little worried if Chronicle was to try and push into hookah, because it's one of the only spots that currently isn't clear.
I think he's going to wait for his teammate and then drone it out once the angle's being covered. There's a minute 10 on the clock. They got plenty of time to play with here. There's no way he just walks in, gives it away. And indeed, KRÜ are going to actually make the first move, stepping their way out on long. Defo's more than ready to take that duel. Now, look, if you take a look at KRÜ and what they have coming into next round, sure, Kesn don't have the showstopper anymore, but Red, Seekers, and Orbital Strike online. Pretty strong ultimate lineup to fight into what will be the last round of the half.
We'll see how many more orbs Class can get. I'd be pretty surprised if there's too much in it. Also, it depends how much they've actually spent on some of the players. Like, you have to bear in mind that Mizzino actually came into this with a rifle. Does he have enough to still purchase up another one? They might just want to keep this into the next round just to shore up their finances. Now, for Gambit, as said, like 4 rounds, it's not ideal, but it's something I think they can work with. If they get to 5, especially with the way the pistols have been going, it's been back and forth all the way through this series. So I genuinely would start to worry a little bit for KRÜ, especially with how good they have been in a lot of these early rounds, like completely delaying, shutting down, not allowing Gambit to play this slow style, which they love so much. And well, for now, it does look like Klaus is going to be allowed to save this rifle into the next. So nobody going to find him. It will be a 4th on the board for Gambit. As I said, it's not done yet.
No, it is far from over, but at least Klaus will carry the rifle through 7-4. The final round to be fought for, we've already said KRÜ have a lot of high-value ultimates. Now, Gambit, I think, have Blade Storm and Hunter's Fury. I don't think they have anything else to play with, which obviously isn't ideal.
Viper's Pit is close, I think.
It is 2 away for Nats. That's very possible. If he manages to find an orb, a kill, whatever, and get himself up to that Viper's Pit, that's almost a guaranteed post-plant.
Wasn't it 70%? I think it was 70% victory when he has that. I think that was a Bala stat that came in early in the tournament. I don't know how much it has carried through. That's a big Hunter's Fury, but okay. Kesnick gets 2 kills with 2 different pieces of his utility. Already down to just a couple of players remaining. Ultimate's not going to play a part at all at this stage for Gambit. They're just trying to fall away. But Kesnick comes back for more. 3 kills already. They're even going to get the res. And Redgar needs the best clutch of the tournament.
I had to give a round of applause for that one because that was incredible. The slow into the nade on mid. The second nade that was online. We had another nade to counter Defo's dash in, followed by an orbital strike behind. I mean, hell, you've seen the snake bite slow people down? When you put that orbital strike, no one is getting through. I'm so impressed by what we're seeing right here and now by this KRÜ side, and a well-earned 8-4 half.
Yeah, I don't actually mind the strat as well. The pace change coming out from Gambit, an attempted fast push in, but this time they were more than ready for it. And again, so impressed with how KRÜ are playing. They've got themselves another 8-4. It's on again a map which we haven't seen too much from them, so I don't want to call Gambit out. As said, out of any team in this tournament, they are the greatest team at comebacks. So I'm hoping that we'll at least get a challenge going into that next half, but it's getting close. Let's see what the desk think.
It is getting close indeed. You know, when it was a 7-1 up for KRÜ, I thought it was going to be a lot worse for Gambit there, Ryan.
Yeah, it was a good response in the end for Gambit to even pull that back. They had to sort of rely on some of the ultimates that were coming through. We got the Cosmic Divide, for example. We got Nats's like Viper's Pit, a couple of cases, and yeah, a lot of people talking good stuff about KRÜ at the moment from the sounds.
Yeah, I mean, this was looking like this was going to end up being, you know, an 11-1 half here for the side of KRÜ. But Gambit, they do manage to finally stabilize. And a lot of it was about those aggressive plays. Mitch and Tom were kind of talking about it there on the cast. They started pushing the pace a little bit harder, and it ended up getting them a couple rounds. Kind of saw there, though, at the end. They tried to push the pace one last time. Didn't really work out for them, though.
Yeah, it's just these kind of moments where I think this was only one of the successful plans that Gambit was able to get on the A site because there was such that highline stronghold in anti-plant hold from KRÜ. They had to go through the teleporters, they had to plant on B, and even then we saw KRÜ winning some of those retakes as well, which is something we don't expect a lot of, but it's just Kesnick being able to dial up the speed and catch Gambit completely by surprise.
I mean, I asked, like, Kesnick, he plays quite a few agents. What do we make of his raise? I don't think it's fair for him to have this many weapons and utilities, Achilles, to be able to damage other people because he just doesn't miss.
The guy he knows how to utilize everything, and he's constantly cycling it through his utility because he gets so many kills with rifles. So he's always got paint shells available. He's always getting those showstoppers up. Granted, the one big time that we saw him trying to use it kind of fell flat because Defo had a really solid entry onto the A site. But yeah, I mean, he's just always got this stuff at his disposal. He knows exactly what surface he needs to bounce it off of, the timings of when people are going to enter, when he's going to be doing the most amount of damage. It's just an incredible game sense, incredible mastery of this agent.
it's just how the whole team is coming together. Minus like Naxxet, who is just there to sort of stall out, hold positions. Like Klaus and Delzik have been so good at holding positions like lamps. It's just a case now of like, okay, you have that composition. This is basically what Ascend play typically anyway. Can you do similar stuff on the attack? This is a composition that Gambit are going to be used to from playing in the MEA. They must have an answer to it, surely.
Well, Gambit, they made a massive comeback on a Breeze mission, Tom. Let's see if they can do it here on Bind.
Well, Tom, I am blown away by KRÜ's performance, the turnaround that they've had. 8-4 now, but we've seen this story before.
New curse.
Don't start just yet. Gambit on 4. KRÜ, they win this, man. They're in the finals, and that will be the biggest. It's already the biggest improvement by any Valorant team, in my opinion, at least. But now, this would just be something of legend to be remembered forever. They did not just use a poison orb to avoid being flashed. That's insane. Now they're pushing up quickly. KRÜ, I love this team so much, but the snake bite's going to slow them down. Out of there, Nats is going to be bailing, and that gives them a lot of control to push towards this B site.
Yeah, they forced them out. They're already going to look to try and claim the orb, and now Red Guy, he has to just escape. There is no value in trying to fight this one back. A cool little piece of utility and moving everybody out of position. It's going to have to be the full-on retake. I believe they've also put a wall down just to close things out. It's going to make things incredibly difficult because you don't really have anything to break that with.
Yeah, it's tough in a round like this, but at least you can knife it up. Oh, Shados is down. Snakebite nade, and they walk away with the kill. The knife given away that there's a player up close. In fact, there's 2 as Gambit look to get back into the site, but KRÜ are already ahead. The dash out buys them a little bit of space, but they get no kills on the back of it. KRÜ are shutting them down. Back-to-back pistols and 9 on the board. This is a fantastic start for the Latin American side. One step closer to victory.
A prime gaming flawless to kick things off, and well, it sort of resonates with their performance so far. A flawless bind from this team. A beautiful execution. Every single piece looked planned for. Every single flash, everything that was attempted by Gambit completely shut down. And while Gambit, all they can hope to do is some damage in this round. They've got a few pistols purchased up, but there really isn't much to play with whatsoever. They are going to be at such a deficit when they attempt to fight this back. It's going to have to be one of the most impressive comebacks we've ever seen. Solid start, though, with the kill onto Klaus. We'll see how much more they can get.
Yeah, the problem is some of these weapons here, they're really not strong. You're talking 2 sheriffs. You got a Nats playing with a shorty inside of Hookah.
Look at Nags.
Here.
He's got him. He's cut him off. He's seen them. But they might just try to pressure him in now. Good call to put the wall down. Nats can't do anything. There's no way out with what he's working with. Kesnet's fallen, and things do get dangerous, especially with the 1-to-1 trades. Mazzino and Delzik left to try and close this out. KRÜ did so well by winning the pistol, but it's all for naught if they lose this.
They're looking to try and find Shados. They want to hunt him down. Instead, he's looking to try and gather it with the rest of the team. Gambit want to play this one together, but it has given some extra positioning to Delzik, wanting to try and use that Molotov to hold them back that little bit further. Mazzino in a good position as well. They've had to try and bypass this one, looking to shut them down. It's left onto Mazzino. The time is ticking through, but he'll win it anyway. Another clutch out from KRÜ. Still a very impressive round from Gambit. 4 kills in a round like that in isolation is huge. They would have liked to win it, though, considering the scoreline.
That's the context that matters, right? The fact that we are at 10-4, KRÜ are just 3 away, and they have an explosive comp. They have showstoppers. They have orbital strikes. I mean, these guys can do a lot of damage, and even just building those ults up and executing them into a round, they could probably close it out on that alone. The pressure is on Gambit now, the back against the wall. They've lost the pistol that previously propelled them back into the map of Breeze when they were down 8-4. This scoreline is looking a lot more difficult, but Kesnet has fallen right away. This bonus round for KRÜ, not off to a great start.
No, it's one where, again, any damage they can do is going to be valuable. Extra credits purchased. Klaus has just run all the way through. Can't quite manage to get the rifle. The response is quick, and Defo kills off another, leaving just 2 remaining into this round. A victory unlikely, but Delzik manages to kill one up. That's almost the worst whiff I've seen in a long time, but Shados does manage to get the kill through. Now, there is a lot of utility here, but Delzik needs a kill. Now with the orbital strike, the Molotov, he might just try to get something done here. He forces them into his position, but they're not going to be able to do much more. Still, 3 players lost with what was a pretty weak bonus. Yeah, they bait out the orbital strike, but realistically, that's a solid round from KRÜ.
Yeah, I don't mind the orbital strike going down. You're trying to close that space, maybe grab a kill and make it doable when you're on low HP. He couldn't really get out of Lamps either. Where was he going to go? There could be players on either side. The wall was broken, so 10-5, somewhere we expect to beat. Gambit coming in with the rifle, sure, but now KRÜ get a bye. And this is where things get very scary. If KRÜ win this round and Gambit on the economy they're on, this game could be nearing a close very quickly.
Yeah, this is where we need to see the best of our Masters champions or Masters Berlin champions if they're going to be bringing this one back. A loss here, as you said, it could almost put the nail in the coffin. It's an aggressive start once again. We were talking about the slow rounds coming out from Gambit. Well, it's almost the opposite. They're looking to fight and brawl, but do they expect Shados to be here? The smoke is almost just a ruse, but Kesnet is watching.
Yeah, I like the fact that you have that spray from afar. That's what sells it. The fact that Defo is still back in toilets. They're like, okay, he didn't push up. He's not in the corner. It's all cool. And that's when they choose their moment to strike. Gambit, find an opening duel, but still so much more to do.
They've got Seekers as well, which for the late round could be huge. Earning up an ultimate that basically gives you all the information for free, and it is a spread out look for the side of KRÜ. More information gathered as Nags just is forced to fall back, and I imagine they're soon going to look to try and group up into A.
I mean, they've got a player in every avenue right now. This is purely trying to take the map control, make sure Gambit don't push up, but with a man advantage, they have no need to. This push has to come in, and it looks like it has to be the A side. The Seekers going out, confirming that this is where the hit's coming in, at least seeing 3 players just outside, but Gambit aren't going to move just yet. They're sticking with a strong B defense, conscious that there could be a rotate. It could take the TP at any moment. That spray so good for Defo through the smoke. Mazzino steps up to try and get this done. A good flash by Shados, though, puts an end to that plan, and it's all on to Delzik. He won't get much done. The first at least, but 15 seconds left. Through a snake bite, he runs.
TP?
He can't, no time left, and he makes the call to go and save.
Yeah, just trying to hold on to the weapon. It is the round that we were looking for from Gambit. Aggressive start, nice little bait and switch, and then catching out players on the other side of the map. They get all the information off the back of the Seekers as well, and they will get themselves a SIG. This definitely isn't over just yet, and for KRÜ going into the next round, financially, it is going to be quite awkward. Now, they have that one saved rifle, which will give them something to play with into this next, and they might just put it on a player that's nearing an ultimate or at least can get a little bit closer, or maybe someone explosive like Kesnet to try and win it for them. But we'll see what they can actually get done. Again, after the last few rounds, they did make things costly. So although there's a rebuy here, Mitch, or although there's a good buy, I should say, from Gambit, they don't have a lot of bank.
Now, let's be clear, at 10-4, I was very worried. But now we're starting to see that Gambit defensive side that we talked about before. It can be scary, and they're showing up. This is where KRÜ need an answer. And in this round, they probably will not find it. They're playing with pistols and a rifle on Kesnet to see if they can open something up. Already losing Klaus. Shock darts on their way to deal what damage they can and make this retake a little bit easier. Still, though, the fact that KRÜ have found a plant already, and they have Seekers online, there's potential with some of these closer angles being held.
Yeah, they don't really have much for this after plant, though. You'd almost be a little bit disappointed if this didn't work out for Gambit.
Oh, they think it's clear?
No, they're going to clear it. A good check from Nats, and they are methodically just removing these players one by one. This is clean from Gambit. It's left all onto Nags, and they are already watching for this. A beautiful retake from Gambit, not letting anything get away from them. No weapons lost, and it's going to be a Prime Gaming flawless as well, which, as said, the worry I had with them was the fact they didn't have a huge amount of credits. They do now.
Yeah. Boom, on the floor, sprayed in, and I think this explosive turnaround by Gambit is exactly what we needed. What I'm looking at, though, when they come back into this take, they have, on the fly, considered every single angle. The trust in their teammates to cover as they go on through. They, like, it is clinical precision. I genuinely don't think I saw a single corner unchecked. Which is damn impressive. And there was always trade potential. I think the only one in danger was Chronicle. In a round like that's exactly what you want. I love this.
They're doing it again. It's cool, but it's something that's now being expected. They get scanned up just a moment later. Already, though, we're seeing ultimates popped in. Delzik, even while stuck in the suck, is going to get a kill onto Redgar. Trades coming back thick and fast from Chronicle, though. 2 off the back of the Guardians. Not bad at all.
No, we're into even numbers now. That operator in the hands of Defo looking for a victim. as they just lock this spike down. KRÜ have to fight back into it. They have got Mazzino. His flashes will come online later, and a showstopper for Kesnitz still with a blast pack. That has to be something that Gambit are quite cautious of. It's almost a guaranteed kill if he decides to pop it and manages to find someone, which
I'm out of stuff.
looks of it he would. They're going to start moving on the back of the flash. Showstopper goes through, blast pack as well. Nobody seen just yet. And he'll be shot in the side! Chronicle going huge in this round. He's found 4 and really saved Gambit's behind. He won't find any more than that, but the 1v2 is looking unlikely. Mazzino walks right into the op to close it out 10-8. Gambit really mounting this comeback, and KRÜ have got to be getting nervous.
Yeah, I love the adaptations again from Gambit. Like, they had Redgar watching the site. As said, they had the Gravwell to sort of pull them in and got caught because of it, so they re-aggress. They go, okay, we've lost map control, we've lost the site, let's try and reclaim something for the retake. Luckily, they then find the spike, and then Chronicle just continues his reign of terror. As said, when talking about players that are at the top of the list for Gambit going into this tournament, he probably wouldn't have been the name that came out of my mouth. Right now, he has been their best player.
I'll say no matter what. KRÜ have done Latin America proud, but this pause is because that's just not enough.
It's getting scary.
Not for them. They need to take this timeout. We've seen a couple iterations of the attack side, and they're not really finding success. And I think you can see it in the body language of the two coaches here. I'm never really sure how to pronounce his name. E-N-G-H. It's the most difficult, but I'm sure it's easy in Russian. But Ang sat back in his chair, chilling out, just, hey guys, yeah, maybe we do this, maybe we do that. Owner, on the other hand, the coach of KRÜ, under a little bit more stress. You can see he's having some stern words there with the boys. They need to figure this out quickly before it goes too far.
But the other thing as well is this has already happened once in this match. Like the first map, they were 8-4 up, it then slips away. This time, they even got the pistol conversion, and yet it's still happening again. The distance, just 2 rounds for Gambit. The buy even comes in, and the thing is, I'm seeing how much finances they have, and I'm looking at the gun that Redgar still decided to buy. I think he's about to try and do something dirty.
Yeah, the thing is, typically when you see that judge, it's going to be used inside of hookah.
Yep.
Redgar's currently on mid, so I'm a bit scared.
He's going to hide in the smoke.
Yeah, he's going to smoke that, and then he's just going to rush on in, slowly walk on in. That was a smoke issue, yeah, and he's hiding behind it. But KRÜ are looking elsewhere. They have their eyes set on this B side.
Yeah, it's a weak buy from them, though. Chronicle can just try and fight this one at range. Kesnit also tagged desperately low, but he will get some of that back. They've also just managed to shut them out with the screen coming out from Nats as well. So it makes things very awkward to try and continue this push. And now that judge becomes incredibly valuable because they know there hasn't been any rotation back on the Gambit side. They are just waiting, they're watching, and then they have a 3-man stack on B.
Yeah, this is really, really strong for Gambit. I think KRÜ cracking this nut's going to be difficult indeed. But they're still looking to move towards this B site. Gambit are stacked up, ready to take him down, recon to back site. That's going to give them a lot of control. And as you see, the snake bite in the Astra util is destroying them as they jump on out. Oh no. The push in, this is dangerous. Klaus is going to have an opportunity on his hands here. He's already spotted the player up close. Nats is in a bit of danger, but luckily he deals with him. The spike is dropped, and, well, Nags, he might have the res, but I don't think he's going to be using it.
Yeah, he's been having a tough time on this Sage. Definitely not looking as impactful as we saw in the first map when we witnessed him on his jet. Again, even cost in this round, it doesn't really matter anymore. He's already got his ultimate, it's already over, and the fact is that's another Prime Gaming flawless. Now, we can look at the credits. I want to have a peek at them in this one because I believe for Gambit, they're going to be hitting like that 6,000 credit mark across the board.
Oh, they're going to be stacked on creds, man. Flawless after flawless for these guys. And KRÜ now have a very difficult task at hand. Now, these buy rounds, when they've had them, they haven't looked great, but obviously they've called that pause. They're going to look to change things up this time around. But if it doesn't work out here, they're going to be behind 11-10, and they'll have very few opportunities. And yeah, the credits are stacked for Gambit. Again, same strategy. It wasn't spotted last round, so why change it? That judge up close better be cleared by KRÜ, or they're in for a pretty damn scary surprise. And with Defo peeking
it's
that,
dirty.
There's no way you expect
No.
someone to be close.
It's the bait and switch. Like, it's such a ratty little play. We've seen so many Astra Judge players now coming through. Like, Vanity springs to mind. You're never going to forget Link, but Redgar looking to take a leap out of their book. Now, there is pressure being put in on the other side of the map. I question if this is a bait, but the spike is down in a pretty open position. And now that the spots come through, instantly we see the rotation coming back from Nats.
And Nats has that Viper's Pit online. If they're under a little too much pressure, it's something the KRÜ will be very conscious of, but with an orbital strike, they might be able to clear him out. 45 seconds on the clock, and that flash is going to reveal them. They know there's players down on long. Gambit are going to be expecting this to be a B hit now. Getting a little bit worried for them. There's the Hunter's Fury. The orbital strike returns. Shados gets out.
The thing is, though, it has bought time. They were expecting to make their burst onto the site. Instead, it's a flash straight through. Nats has managed to find a couple, but the trades are in thick and fast. This is the best opportunity for KRÜ so far, and they instantly put down the Viper's Pit. They look to lock out these players from behind. The spike going in as well for the spawn. It makes it so difficult for this retake. Redgar, though, Cosmic Divide, trying to make some space.
Yeah, they still have to deal with the Viper up close, though. There is a Judge on the floor. Potential to pick that up and look for those duels, but it's just a drop in. There's the first, but Redgar's caught on the way out. KRÜ get off the starting point at last. It's 11-9. And I heard big cheers coming from the stage there. No doubt that's going to put some wind in their sails.
Again, though, it's a lot of ultimates committed just to get yourself around. Like, that was almost just a burn around from KRÜ. Just throw everything they can at it just to make sure they get the victory. But now they actually need to build off of this. And that's the thing. We've mentioned this already. They're going to be able to get a couple of rounds doing things like this, like a Viper's Pit, like throwing in an orbital strike as well. But they now won't have that for a couple of rounds. And this has done 0 damage to the economy of their opponents. Look at it. Redgar's got 8,000 credits going into the buy. You've still got players with enough to buy in the next round still. And we also have the ultimate of the Viper's Pit. And I'm not surprised that we now see a pause coming through, whichever side it is.
I would see the fact that we're seeing this many pauses called into play just shows you how tight of a game this is. Yes, they're only 2 rounds away, which almost gives it away immediately, but all series long, the second one team makes that little mistake or spots something, there's a pause called right away. They do not want anything to slip through the cracks here at Champions. Both teams fighting for that grand final spot, I have to say. This is the game we hoped we'd get. But I still feel blessed. Even after the way that they've been playing all tournament long, Gambit have been a little bit shaky. KRÜ have been outperforming anyone's wildest expectations. And it comes down to just a couple of rounds here on Bind to see which one of these two makes it all the way.
Yeah, and again, it almost comes down to a game of chess. We've seen some incredibly aggressive responses coming out of the side of KRÜ at times, but the last few have almost been these very slow, methodical rounds. The problem is, it's given opportunities for these aggressive plays, for map control to be taken. As said, like, the fact that we've seen Redgar get so far up, and the reality is, a lot of what happened in the last round was down to those ultimates clearing positions. So now we have to wait and see. The instant response is there's going to be an ult straight away coming out of Nats just to try and lock down mid, and then they're going to look to almost rotate away the remaining players.
A quick tip to Seyfold. Oh my god! Defo's gone aggressive and Nags has taken him down. The op in the hands of a Sage gives the opening and just the perfect time for KRÜ. Gambit have constantly put down recons, flashes, something like that, but this time they choose to go aggressive, and it's the one time the KRÜ are ready for it.
Yeah, this is sometimes what we see from CNET as well, just that Sage operator just locking down a portion of the map. And as said, it looks like KRÜ have read this one almost perfectly. Still, though, it's definitely not going to be an easy battle to do something within this round. Just based on that Viper's Pit already being down, other utility remaining, they're now going to look to clear out the bathrooms. And although this B site is the more vulnerable of the two, with the aggressive positioning and that clear, you can see the third player looking to try and bolster up on B.
If Defo wasn't a Jet, there's no way he peeks that. When you pop a Viper's Pit on one side of the map, you don't really need to get aggressive, but why not? When you have that dash available, this is dangerous. And you can see that they're very scared of that operator, and why wouldn't you be? Chronicle playing behind the smoke, and there's the opening. As they come around the corner, they're not expecting him to still be aggressive. And he's gonna get all 5! An ace for Chronicle, the round saved! That is incredible! 11-10. Gambit are not letting this one go.
That's one of the best plays I've ever seen I don't understand how he manages to not only find the 4 kills, but then the player behind him as well. This was truly ridiculous from Chronicle. He is having one of the best tournaments. I think he's definitely in the running for MVP if they manage to get into that final. And that has got to be heartbreaking. The entries that they found, a 3 versus 5. KRÜ have got to be deflated, but they have to get back on the horse and look at their economy. This is what happens when you spam those ultimates and only just manage to scrape the round.
This is heartbreaking, man. KRÜ got the opening and everything, and now the early aggression goes Chronicle's way, but in 1-for-1 trades, Kesden chasing them into their spawn, and it's gonna catch Shados. What is that? KRÜ are upping the aggression completely, and now they've got a 4v3 post-plant.
Yeah, they've managed to reclaim one of the rifles, the other 2 deep, but the issue now on the other side is the weaponry. It's not there for a retake for Gambit. They've got themselves a single rifle. Another's been retrieved at least for Defo, so he can look to try and take some space into the site, but this is passive, and they still have a lot of post-plant utility to go. It's just going to be stuck within it. It's not actually being tagged by the Molotov. He's just going to hold it all the way, but Kesnick comes up huge, and so does Delzik. It is going to be a thrifty win from the side of KRÜ to get their 12th. This map is insanely close, and it is going to go to the wire.
I cannot believe it. That molly almost costing them the round. Can you imagine? 11-11 off the back of it, but luckily KRÜ snatched the round away.
Can I get a tactical pause?
Yeah, can I get a technical breather, please? 12-10. KRÜ guaranteeing themselves at least an overtime with 2 chances to close this out. 1 round, all that's needed to put Latin America in the grand finals. I don't think anyone would have seen this coming. Hell, I don't think KRÜ would have seen this coming. And now it's a very real possibility. Defo pressured in the early round out of bathrooms completely.
As said, it's never over though for Gambit. We've seen them fight back to overtime with a 7-round deficit before. This time they need just 2. And again, it's come up to some hugely clutch, aggressive rounds from KRÜ to just grind them out. This time though, they do have a bye, but the ultimates are a miss. And on the other side, there's some pretty crucial ones. Nats just playing on the edge of this Viper utility. They've got to be so careful to make sure that they clear this extra spot. He's hiding within their own smoke, and already 2 are going to go down! Nats goes huge as well in response. He's looking for an ace of his own, leaving just 1 man standing, and he wants to try and fight for it. Shados will steal it away, but they respond with a Prime Gaming flawless. How is this happening?
And to fight for overtime, Gambit come in with 2 ultimates already and 2
What's the buy gonna be?
On the edge. This is absolutely incredible. Nats loves to play in that little corner. We saw him jump in just a second before hookah control was taken. He did not give it up at all. Comes down to the final round of regulation. You wouldn't have it any other way. KRÜ
Spectres
really not looking healthy economically coming into this one. In fact, Nags is even going to be dropped to Spectre just so he has a weapon. It's all on the line for them right now, and the Hunter's Fury deployed to try and catch a couple off. Already the tag there. Kesnet will survive, but Mazzino loses his health as well.
Yeah, they should be able to get both back to 100, but that's definitely not ideal. They really want to try and pressure onto Defo. They also want that ultimate orb really bad to get that in, bring them closer to an ult, especially Mazzino and Delzik both want away. Both could be the difference maker, but they're still looking to try and fight for this. They're watching for Defo, but they have the trades! Chronicle is going to give them a 2-man advantage, and there needs to be a response from KRÜ.
An attempt by Klaus, at least. There's the first 3 versus 4. Gambit locked in towards bathroom and being pressured from both sides. This is a little scary. Nags already able to pick up the opening, and now they'll come in on the other side, but Defo at least manages to secure his back. Now looks to the site where Delzik and Klaus are trying to get the plant in. In fact, no, they're trying to bring the fight to them all the way into the spawn. But look at Shados. He's holding for it. He's conscious of this play, and now he's got the spike as well. Gambit looking to take us all the way to overtime unless Klaus can do something. And no, it's going to be OT on the final map. What an incredible way to close out the semis here at Champions. KRÜ put up one hell of a fight, but now as we hit overtime, it's anyone's game.
can't believe what I'm watching. Like, this was the game that I sort of said, like, I want it to deliver so bad that I almost feel like it won't. Like, that's how I started today off. I was like, I want this to be a close game. I want it to go to 3 maps. I didn't even question overtime. Like, I didn't think that would be possible. Just the way that both these teams play, both of these teams performing so strong in these 3rd maps. And it's gone all the way again. 10-4 down, Gambit. 10-4 down. 12-10 down. Just 1 needed. That was all it took. And they managed to grind it back. An ace out from Chronicle in a 3 versus 5. A quad kill out from Nats in an aggressive round. And then Chronicle again here. It has been one of the greatest fightbacks I've ever seen. And now it gets to OT, and it is anyone's match.
We have 2 of the best teams for it as well. Both of these teams have proven time and time again that they can play under pressure. Gambit calling a timeout, moving into this. You see the stress they're under. Hell, I don't think anyone's given them this tough of a fight for a long, long time. KRÜ, on the other hand, my God, they took down Sentinels. They took down Fnatic, a 3rd finalist now on the plate. But can they finish their meal? This defensive side is about to have a pretty big test in 35 seconds before we launch into this. The players' hearts must be racing.
Yeah, Defo's actually gone for a glass cannon operator as well. No shields, doesn't have the majority of his utility as well, so they might be expecting some level of aggression out from KRÜ here. Now, bear in mind, both teams were way better when it came to the defensive side. I will say when it gets to OT, it doesn't matter. These are where the cheesy strats comes out. This is where you get to the back of your notepad and just start reading the random stuff you scribbled down in the hopes that one day it will be useful. The question is, who has the goal to test it to the limit? And who's going to be the one to close it out?
I'm looking at the players, Tom, and things are tense on that stage. Redgar giving a few motivational shouts to his teammates. I've never seen that man fired up, but he is in the game right now. We kick things off in overtime with Gambit on the attack, and they are taking it slowly, but they do pressure in towards Bathroom. They're spamming every angle, but ultimately they're fighting for those ult orbs. You can see that Shados is the one that they decide to give it to. Now 2 away from having himself the Seekers. One mistake, one misstep here can cost you it all, and Klaus in danger. The operator scoped in on him, and he goes a little too wide. That's the opening for Gambit.
Yeah, the pixel shot connected, and sure, Kesnit's gone to try and reclaim that ground. There's also going to be aggressive pushing coming through, but the information is there. Rotation already making its way from the side of KRÜ. They've left this B site fairly vulnerable, but by the looks of it, at least for now, the gamble's correct. Nats, though, takes the space, and they're going to TP. They're going to take that rotation in towards the B site. Nags, he's going to have to go huge here, Mitch.
I like what Nats did. He waited inside the teleporter, waited for his teammates, pushed out. Now they can 3-man take the site. Nags on the back, hasn't been spotted. The spray is good for Nats. The spike delayed a little longer. 15 seconds on the clock. They need to get this planted, but they've got the manpower to cover the angles. Nags is pressured on the backside. Chronicle taking a big risk, pushing forward. Guessed it, manages to find 2. The spike being planted, nade in. It has to be tanked. And Chronicle maintains 16 HP. He's alive on the site, but only barely. And Kesnit's gonna deal with him down to the 1v1. Showstopper fired, but it won't land. Doesn't find the target this time around, and Defo scoped in with the operator. No dash online, and there he goes. 3 kills for Defo, and match and series point for Gambit.
That round alone has just put this entire map into one single moment. It now goes down to KRÜ to try and win a round on their attack. Kesnit tried his best. An incredible peek. The timing, perfect. He almost... That's the thing as well. He was so close to denying that spike plant, and then the round is over. That was millimeters from that nade landing, and even just his spray nearly killed him off as well. That was the tightest of margins to give Gambit the lead. Now they need to do what they've done for the rest of the map and take a defensive round.
He gambled the showstopper as well, right? Threw it towards the deep side along. If he went close, that round was over. So many small decisions that end up being the difference maker. And it looks like KRÜ want to up the pace. My God, we haven't seen him go this quickly in quite a while. And Nats attempting to punish on the back of the flash is caught. There's the opening for KRÜ to try and stay alive at Champions.
One off the showstopper already. A chance for Kesnit to potentially be that difference maker, that superstar that we've seen throughout the entirety of this tournament. A 2-2 split for Gambit, but with aggressive presence in towards the bathrooms. Defo will keep that control for now, but it is patient from KRÜ. They're expecting some sort of aggressive response. They're expecting someone to attempt to make a play, but for now, it's a standstill.
KRÜ really thinking about every decision on this one. They're taking it slowly. But as that timer turns from a friend to a foe, they have to move. The flash is fantastic. It clears out Hookah entirely, but Nat's not alive. There's a lot less pressure on the moving through. There's the opening! Redgar with 2, with 3! Oh my god! Gambit might take it across the line. It's a 2v2. KRÜ, wall off the spawn, slow down. That buys them time to plant. They'll be able to set themselves up for post plans. Klaus still with a snake bite to play with, but they are not going passive. They are staying up in their opponent's face. And this is a good setup. When Klaus takes contact, Nags will be able to jump on top and try for the assist. They're walking out, and it looks like they've done it. Klaus finishing it off with another triple. We will go to overtime number 2.
Both rounds with one player surviving. Both rounds coming down to the wire. And both teams trying their very best to clutch this one out, but it will go a little bit longer. It's not done just yet. Honestly, well, we're gonna get the nice little number 2. I don't know how far this is gonna go. I think we've actually casted the longest map in history on Bind.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind.
That's true.
I wouldn't mind a repeat.
If it keeps up like this,
we might die.
My heart will give out, but I'm ready for it, man. Round 27, I mean, this has been a marathon for both of these teams. Sure, they get breaks between the maps, but it's not designed to go this long. Recon up top, Nags is safe. That's a big miscalculation by Gambit, but they do well to not get punished.
Yeah, looking to try and clear him out of this position. Getting Hookah control a little bit more difficult when you don't have that raise available, but they're doing a damn good job of it, making things very awkward, and actually Mazzino's going to try and jump in to support his teammate. If this is where the ball goes down, he wants to be there to see it.
I think the Redgar just took the TP to try and keep those A players in position. Stops the rotation from coming through. KRÜ stay aggressive and try to fight for this Hookah control, but Nats has managed to find the opening, and now they look to the side of B. Making their way out of Hookah will be difficult, but they have a player on long. Shados, flash primed and ready to make its way around to get these players out onto the site. It's only a matter of time now with 40 seconds on the clock. We know that Gambit like to take their time, but not by that much. There's the smokes, there's the flash, and now out they come. Kesnit has gotten himself into a good position, and look at that crossfire. Oh, that's so nicely played by KRÜ. Down to the 2v1. The IGL of Redgar has it all to do. And it's almost impossible to even plant at this point as he looks to sneak in towards the spawn. He has to be careful. The angle held from inside of Hookah. He'll smoke it. He'll move in through, and he'll take Delzik down, even going for the next, but no! Klaus saves the day yet again, and KRÜ now sit on match and series point, looking to eliminate the defending champions.
Again, it comes down to the wire. A tasty little fake coming out from Redgar to turn it into that 1 versus 1 scenario, and there was a moment, just a moment, where it looked like they would close it out. This crossfire as well. Kesnit, Mazzino doing incredible work on that B site. And now it comes down again to that defensive round from Gambit. If they can keep themselves in this, or they're heading home.
Tom, I can't describe what this game is doing to my emotions. I cannot imagine being in the player's shoes right now. Gambit are under so much pressure. KRÜ, everything that they've fought for, this team is stuck together through thick and thin. Mostly thin on the international stage.
As if he's got a judge in this round.
And it's the same setup we saw before. Defo looking to take the opening. He'll find a shot, no kill, but then the judge comes in! Redgar's good for 2! Defo in with another, but he'll fall! The snake bite, gonna slow them down a little bit. Klaus is too low. If he goes into a fight now, he might just fall, and Delzik's nowhere nearby to trade. A decision has to be made here and now. Where do they go? And the plant faked out the spray coming through, but Nats won't find anything with it. Still, eventually they need to move. What a shot by Delzik! With Shados down, he's all alone, and Nats will double up to bring us to overtime number 3, Tom. We keep on going.
Let's run it back one more time. I'd love that that play finally came through. They've been trying to use that bait and switch for the entirety of their defensive side. Not once have we seen that push running down mid. It just hasn't actually happened from them. And finally, KRÜ decide to go walking through, and they're met with a judge. And of course, it's in the hands of Redgar. We go once again. It's going to be that operator back on board for Defo. He actually dropped it for the previous round, but they are clearly planning something on this aggressive jet.
Oh, they have got an idea of what they want to do here. The flash is going to catch him, though. Doesn't slow him down too much. The enemy team of KRÜ looking to try and get themselves a little early control over B long. It's denied, and now the thing is they don't know this operator is here. It hasn't been given away just yet. Now it's being spotted, though.
There's still some aggressive positioning. We've seen this a lot from Nags, looking to try and hold onto that control. Kesnet already rotating over, but Nats is trying to be sneaky on the other side of the map. We know this is exactly what he does, just looking to try and take that control, make things a little bit more awkward as he tries to sneak through. Is he going to be able to catch one out? No! A reaction shot from Klaus could be the difference maker, but there are still a few players here on the other side. The push looking to try and come in onto B.
Nats has tried that one too many times. They've gotten wise to his little lurk play. KRÜ reaping the rewards of that information read. 40 seconds on the clock. We've seen this before from Gambit, the last second XX into the B site. It's become a recurring theme. That's why Kesnet has his nade in hand ready to fire it through. They've spotted a player inside of Hookah, but Nags manages to make it away. Luckily, Mazzino in danger if he peeks into that operator, and in fact it's going to be a full rotate. Gambit are fast pushing the A site, but the problem is KRÜ are still here. They haven't moved, and the molly's going to slow them completely. Delzik even takes a kill, and they cannot trade. That molly is buying them all the time in the world, and with the classic, Delzik finishes off the round on a 3K, 15-14, and another chance for KRÜ.
Match point.
What a time to get a Prime Gaming flawless. Yeah, sure, it has no effect on the economy of the game, but it does have an effect on the mental, I'm sure. A fantastic read. And the fact that Delzik, knowing how slow this Gambit side likes to play, holds the Molotov until the last possible seconds, catches that rotation, holds them all the way in. And now, once again, a chance for them to take this, and they are going to call another pause, Mitch. They're going to give themselves and us another breather. And for the side of Gambit, sure, we know that their defensive side has been stronger thus far, but that is meaningless at this point.
It is just being backed into a corner again and again. It doesn't feel nice. Having to constantly fight for survival, you know eventually you're going to slip up. So you got to close this game out before that happens. And in KRÜ's perspective, they're fired up. They're ready to go. No doubt Gambit are upset about how they just lost that round. And remember, in the previous, we had Redgar up close with the judge in hand in an overtime. You never see that. Yeah, you're not going to do that again. You're not going to be able to.
Yeah, it was a little bit spicy, something a little bit risky. But now they have to try and come up with something new, and the same can be said for the attack side of KRÜ. It is where they've struggled. A lot of it came down to some aggressive pushes in previous rounds where they managed to catch out a player pushing in the form of Defo. Again, these are things that I'm not sure are going to be recreated for this one. And again, I think it's just going to come down to the individual plays, who's going to perform in the round. But having that opportunity once again for KRÜ to close it, Mitch, we'll see if they can do it this time.
Well, I see a lot of conversation over on the side of Gambit. Nats dishing out some information to his teammates. And I do wonder if we'll get some early aggression on the back of that. It looks like with this operator in hand, Defo wants to push up. Remember, we saw him attempt some B long aggro and get completely ruined. This time, it will be around middle that he looks for it. The smoke, or the star rather, recalled instantly to try and lull them into a false sense of security on that attacking side. But KRÜ are taking this slow. They look at one part of the map, which is Hookah, where they want to get aggressive, and the rest of it is just being held, hoping that Gambit
he saw him.
make a mistake.
He saw him. That's information for Nats. I think Kesnet might have seen the jump as well, so both players just going to fall off. Look at this spot from Defo. Now, I'm sure that there is Redgar just waiting to try and put up a smoke to allow him to escape, but it's going to be forced off the angle all the way back to the site, spotted out by the Tiger, and this is almost just a ruse. The second they push him back, they instantly go rotating. There's no more information available for the side of Gambit, and there's a vulnerable site.
Nice nade. This forces Nats to play inside the site, but Shados has that covering fire from the side. Nats showing up and eliminating the hookah push. KRÜ run headfirst into a brick wall. The spike is down on the site, and Gambit have full control, full rotations. All of their bases are covered. They need a miracle on the side of KRÜ to get away with this, and Delzik sneaking out of hookah on 1 HP won't be it. We are going to another overtime.
Shados with a big round. We've seen these multi-frags from Gambit time and time again. 30 rounds already played, and it is not done just yet. And again, we're going to see Gambit go back onto that attacking side to see what they can grind out here. It just feels that they're matching each other man for man, pound for pound. The second that elimination is on the table for Gambit, it's like they just hit a different gear. It's actually terrifying. It's like, oh, we're 10-4 down. Now we're the best team in the world. Yeah. Oh, okay, it's even again. Back to normal. It is just ridiculous, and we go again.
KRÜ's defense, though, has been strong. I mean, they've looked good in these OTs, that's for damn sure. You saw it, though. Gambit slowing it down, leaving it to the last second. That clock has been an enemy of theirs again and again. I said about KRÜ, they just hold their utility. They wait for the late round because they know Gambit want to play it slow. But this time around, it's a different story. Gambit are pushing out to this site quickly, trying to push the pace and catch their opponents off guard. And that's exactly what happens. A triple to open it up. Defo keeps on going. A triple of his own, in fact. A Blade Storm popped in the right click. Is going to look to close this out. Mazzino walking headfirst into it, but Redgar catches him in the crossfire. 16 to 15, and Tom, my worry now is that Gambit's defense has been incredible. They just had a pace change on the attack, and that completely blindsided KRÜ.
The last attacking round Gambit had was a prime gaming flawless to their opponents. Now they get one of their own. There is so much resilience within this squad, and you can see looking a little bit deflated on the KRÜ side. I'm sure there's plenty of people back over in Argentina, back in LATAM in general, cheering for this squad, but they need to dig deep and now win themselves an attacking round. Now there's an operator back onto Nags once again. Now he was patient last time, waiting and watching. I don't think there's going to be that level of aggression coming out from Gambit this time.
So the one thing that's been able to force Defo off this angle is the Trailblazer, and this time it's used by KRÜ to claim control over Bathroom. That's going to put them on the back foot if they decide to push into middle, because Defo will be waiting for them with the op in hand. I'm a little bit worried about that because it almost pigeonholes them into going towards this B site.
They've managed to already get themselves one orb. Kesnet looking to try and get that a little bit closer to the showstopper. Defo still trying to play around mid, and it's tentative. Again, KRÜ are expecting, waiting for some level of aggression, and Defo is the only man really facing any angle at all. And you can see the spike starting to rotate back into this A site, but just look at the utility that's already there. So much available at this point in time, and Defo still with this info is going to make it tough.
The clock was an issue for Gambit. It might now be for KRÜ. On their way in towards this site, Defo's being pushed off. He's able to dash away to safety, and Chronicle's still here, waiting for them to walk through, but he whiffs at the worst possible moment. So too does Defo. KRÜ are back in the game. They've shown up here and now. The snake bites trying to slow them and push them out of position. 12 seconds left on the clock. They need to plant the spike now. They're getting it down, and it looks like they've got the round in the bag. The attack for KRÜ shows up big time, and you can hear them get loud in the background as we go, you guessed it, to another overtime.
No one can get 2 in a row. It is just that resilience. No one wants to lose this badly, that they are just fighting tooth and nail every single round. And I feel like there's got to be players on the Gambit side kicking themselves. Chronicle with an opportunity to shut that push down almost instantly. The utility so well placed to delay them. But again, it's just that fire coming through from KRÜ that gets them another round. They move back onto the defensive side. And while, again, it's going to be a fast-paced take. Already looking for that early control. Already looking to try and get those Seekers online if possible. And actually, they're taking a lot of space.
That they are. You know, it's got to be said, Gambit had a lot of success with the fast play earlier, but I don't expect KRÜ to be as caught off guard. And already you see them put out their utility early. They're changing their pace, they're adapting, but they're not winning the duels. And ultimately, that's the only metric we give a damn about right now. Klaus able to get in for 2. That's a lifeline for KRÜ, but the rest of them fall like dominoes. Mazzino has to clutch it, and he will not. Another fast round from Gambit, and another successful attack as they push to try and make that final spot. All they need to do is pull out a solid defense, and we've seen it from them time and time again.
Yeah, but the times we haven't is when they've got themselves an attack round on the board. It is just this weakness they've now found. These fast A-site hits is something that is really being struggled with from the side of KRÜ. And once again, it's up to them to find a response. I am looking at a judge, Mitch. I'm looking at it, staring at it. Redgar has gone for this once again. This time, a different spot completely. And he's almost going to bait them in. He's put down that same aggressive Nebula just to try and give them the false info that somebody has pushed up. That is not the case. Kesnet, though, is almost just running his way through. Already dead, but the trade comes through. Back into a 3v3 scenario. Chronicle left alone, but the info is that there's no one else here, at least for now.
Yeah, KRÜ are playing this one incredibly slowly, hoping that some aggression came out of Gambit through middle with Defo already dealt with inside a bathroom. They know that a mainstay of this A defense is now out of the equation, and they'll look to move through bathroom to try and take that control and fight the site. That means they'll be dueling Nats, and Redgar can't help. The man has got a judge inside of Lamps. They're avoiding one of the biggest dangers in this round. One step closer to that ulti for Nags. If he gets a res online, that could be the turning point of this round. But they're gonna wrap back. They're looking for the B side, and little do they know, Chronicle has made the incredibly aggressive push now. Tucked in, they're gonna walk right past him. Already, the players are starting to rotate, and it's all on Chronicle. He'll be checked, but he still gets the first. That's it, though. Great trade back by Delzik as they look for the site. That'll be Nags getting his res online if they can get this spike down. The molly, but they've already pushed through. Oh, he's on the back site. They won't expect him already. Nat's able to take 1, and he'll take the second. 18-16. The defending champions take it across the line. Gambit are going to the grand final.
There is a reason why they are the Masters Berlin champions. There is a reason why we never count this team out, because even when they're down, they fight back every single time. This is the team that came in as favorites. This is the current best team in the world. But we have to give a shout out to their opponents. This team came in as one of one. There was one LATAM representative. They have come top 4 in this tournament, and I would fight anybody at this point who say they didn't deserve a spot in the final. They have been phenomenal, and they have taken the best team in the world tooth and nail all the way through. Gambit, they've shown their resilience, Mitch, but honestly, we are all so impressed with KRÜ.
Yeah, I really cannot give this team enough credit for what they've been able to do, turning all the haters in the world into fans. From pretty much the first game that we saw, actually no, versus Liquid, that was pretty terrible. So we thought, same old KRÜ, let's move on, let's not think about it anymore. And my God, they came in against Furia. That was our first game, Tom, and it blew my mind to see what this team is capable of. The improvement has been fantastic. Hell, I'm gonna have to go to those players and buy one of their jerseys off them, because I am blown away by this team. It's almost a shame they didn't make it all the way, but up against Gambit, there's no shame in that.
No, and they go out in the best map of the entire tournament. I think anybody who argues that as a full, it goes the full distance, it goes even a little bit more. We saw massive plays from the likes of Kesnet. In fact, we got massive plays from the entire team. The entire server has been performing all the way through. Some of the craziest things from Chronicle, that ace that made absolutely no sense. And yeah, sure, look how many people are there. God. Look how many fans this team has brought through. They've been world class.
A well-deserved round of applause from that crowd as well. I only wish they were here to give it to them in person, because KRÜ most certainly deserve our respect. But the take-home point is that Gambit are still competing for the best in the world. And yeah, screw the fist bumps. Let's get the hugs out there. Really incredible, and there's no surprise with the respect that these teams have for each other after a series like that.
There can't be anything more than mutual respect. That was an incredible series. The fight back in the first map as well. Like I think this is the difference that I've seen from Gambit that I think that we even didn't see in the previous tournament, is that they have this resilience now. We saw them previously just body a lot of teams. We saw them in the past even choke. And now they can be this far down, 10-4, and then fight it all the way back. They were down twice at elimination point. No, actually more than twice, 3 or 4 times in fact. And they managed to just pull up big exactly when they needed it. This team is the best in the world. And going up against Ascend in that grand final, it's going to be incredible. And honestly, I'm so excited to watch that game because my voice, I was going to say a word I can't say. My voice is screwed after that.
Yeah, that was one of the best maps I've had the pleasure to watch, let alone work on. And I gotta say, if you're Gambit right now, a sigh of relief is an understatement. My God, they've got to be going home happy. I have to say, all in all, this game delivered far and above what I could have expected in my wildest dreams, and you see it even from Gambit, the tears of relief. I have to say, you know, can I just point out that we had the winning parade, we had the teams hug each other. Redguard took a moment out of his celebration to sit there, stand there on the stage, and talk to one of the other players, and I'm sure it was nothing but kind words. He's one of the sweetest people alive.
The classiest individual at this entire
Can you imagine
event.
winning a game like that and going, yeah, I'll celebrate in a minute, we'll do all the winning moment, let me just talk to this guy, you know, well played, man, whatever. Such a lovely guy, no better team for it. I gotta say, it's no surprise that Gambit are in the finals. A lot of people expected it coming into this tournament. But KRÜ, they almost earned a final spot themselves. Hell, they'll go home as finalists in my heart, at least.
Yeah, no, they are one of the surprises of the event. And I think that's the thing that has made this Champions event better than anything I could have ever expected. We've had the likes of KRÜ make it to a semi-final. People predicting that at the beginning of the tournament, you're insane. We had X10 making it into the top 8 with a crazy run through multiple teams. Now we get a final that, sure, as someone from EMEA, we're feeling happy, but I don't think there's any person within even our region, within any region, that wouldn't have taken KRÜ in the final, even if it meant they eliminated every single EMEA team along the way. They have stolen the hearts of everyone. We're going to be going to the Prime Gaming post-match highlights, Mitch. Let's hug it out. Come on.
There's a couple of them.
Let's hug it out.
Enjoy.
Let's hug it out. I'm dead.
Well, Gambit has been the team that have ended so many underdog stories, X10 Vikings, but will they do that to KRÜ today?
You couldn't ask for a better matchup when it comes to where they are in the world and also their styles.
This is incredible. And they're not even watching as he comes up. Nats is turning to see it, and another headshot delivered.
No.
One shot is all that's needed for Chronicle. A 4K for him, an ace for Kesnet. There you go.
Don't put my face on that one. I
Nice! Oh, but he connects them both! The spray down is clean!
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had the time to take a breather. I've never been more grateful for a break than I have in those last 3 minutes. It's the end of the journey for KRÜ, and what a tournament they've had.
Oh, I need to check my pulse for a second. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better series. Like, that is one of the best games, certainly one of the best maps on Binary that we've ever seen in Valorant ever, non-stop. And it's just the fact that those kind of, like, you're looking at CIS versus LATAM, it all just blended to one in the end, just the hugs at the end. It just capitulates just an insane tournament, and the I have no words at this point.
That was just
just bugged down. Like, this is.
I don't even think you have to use the caveat of like on bind. I think this was just maybe the best map that we've ever seen. You know, given the stakes for this, a spot in the first Champions Grand Final, I think I will go ahead and sign off on it. Best goddamn map of Valorant that I've ever seen. Everybody fighting tooth and nail, and even though KRÜ, they don't get it in the end, they played with such passion. You could tell how much they wanted this. You could tell how much this meant for them. And it's the same for Gambit. Obviously, I'm not trying to say it means less to them, but KRÜ, they really put their heart and souls into this. And I hope they hold their heads high, because this was a showing that nobody anticipated at all. The fact that they were able to do that, they took the world by storm. They shocked and inspired every single one of us.
And 18-16, you know, I also love the wholesome aspect of this. They were hugging on stage. There's no trash talk. There's no toxicity. There's no kind of bravado, and we saw Redguard get quite emotional at the end as well. You know, he said in the past in interviews that the best case scenario for him, whether win or lose, is to play the best map of Valorant ever, where everybody gives their all. And Ryan, today we got exactly that.
He did. Everybody did. Sure, you can look at the stats. You can sort of look at players like Nagset, who couldn't really find a form in the last map in comparison to the first, maybe, but you had to bring out insane plays, like freakishly good plays from Gambit, like the Chronicle Ace. We saw Nats get a 4K. It's the fact that they matched up so well that we had to see these insane moments from either team in order to eke it out. Just that Chronicle Ace is going to live with me for the rest of my life. It is just ridiculous.
That whole string of events, I wrote down a flowchart. It's Chronicle Ace into a KRÜ Thrifty, into a Nats 4K, into overtime. You can't write a script better than what we just saw. It's just absolutely mind-melting gameplay the whole way through.
Look at the bottom. Look at the amount of rounds that are there. It's just, it's also the fact that like KRÜ was able to push Gambit to that level. Like, and this is the thing, like people wanted to see KRÜ do tremendously well, but it wasn't like cheap or cheesy Valorant. It wasn't this high-paced stuff. It was, they were fundamentally outplaying some of the best teams in the world, and it had to rely on Gambit's composure, which has been their lifeline this whole tournament, in order to just bring it out in that case. I just want to see a rematch of those two. Like, Ascend are going to be watching. I wonder what their reaction was, because they must be terrified of both teams at this point.
I mean, none of them left any regrets, you know, like they all gave their best. I'm glad you mentioned, both of you mentioned Chronicle's ace. Chronicle has been incredible in this tournament, and we have him, as you guys can see right behind me, in a post-match interview, standing by with Doug for the Verizon post-match interview even.
Thank you so much, Sue. Chronicle, you just played one of the best games of Valorant ever. Ever. Full stop. How do you feel right now?
Just mixed feelings, I think. Like, you know, at the same time, I'm so happy that we won that match, because that showed that we can come back from any score. We can just fight till the end. And like, I'm feeling like in the Die For You song, like I'm just sacrificing everything to be on the stage, to get to the finals. And that's a great feeling. And also it's pretty kind of sad, or like I feel like so. It's hard to say. I just say that I feel really sad for KRÜ because they played really great. They just showed that they're really great team and they just so hard they improved till this year. And that's sad that we're losing them. It will be a really great final match if we will play with them in the finals.
Now that's actually a perfect segue because I wanted to ask you, I know you guys had a moment on the stage, but is there anything you would like to say to KRÜ? Anything that you could say to KRÜ if they were still here at this moment?
I think you just need to stay the same roster that you're playing right now. You're so great players and I think you have a great synergy between each other. So the next year will truly be yours if you start or if you just do the same thing and just practicing more and more.
Now, knowing what just went down right here a couple of moments ago, you'll be now facing Ascend on this stage in just a couple of hours. You guys have history together. You're from the same region. How are you feeling going into that series?
Feeling great. Actually, I think we right now don't have any pressure. We just will play our game because we proved to everyone that we can do anything. Even if we have maybe the hardest tournament we ever played. Like every player, every team had an eye on us, and we still showing great results and making to the finals. I think it's a great result to show to everyone that we are not the team for only one win tournament. Like we are not fluking.
Yeah, defending champions, and again, you're going to have the opportunity to do it again. Chronicle, last question for you. Is there anything you have to say to your fans at home, to the supporters of Gambit watching from around the globe?
First of all, I just want to say thank you to all my fans, all fans of our team who supported us, who still believing in us. Even we had the hardest days of this tournament. I think we will try to prove to everyone that we can take this trophy to us. And всем русским фанатам. Спасибо вам огромное за то, что вы поддерживаете нас, за то, что вы делаете всю ту любовь и заботу, которую проявляете к нам. Я просто невероятно сильно ценю это все, и я читаю каждое сообщение, каждый комментарий в Твиттере, в ВК и так далее. Спасибо вам огромное, и надеюсь, мы вас не подведем в финале.
Chronicle, you're a legend. Again, congratulations on the big win. We will see you tomorrow, and we are going to throw it back to Yinsu at the desk.
Thank you very much, Doug and Chronicle. We love you. Well, very well played today. You know, I don't think I've ever seen anyone in a winner's interview say that they're so sad because they had to beat their opponent. But it goes to show just the relationship these guys have and how sad we all are that KRÜ are being knocked out.
It's funny to the point that Gambit almost wanted KRÜ to win. It almost feels like they were so lovable that even Gambit playing against them was like, I'm kind of wanting KRÜ to win a little bit. But it's just the fact that these are two youngest squads, like there's so much to go. I agree with Chronicle, like other NA teams or whatever, leave KRÜ alone. Don't try and bring any of these players to your roster. Like, I want to see this KRÜ go into 2022 because there's a lot more that we can see from them, I have no doubt. So leave them alone.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they can do. That was, like we said, the greatest map of Valorant we have ever seen, and it's time for Bala to break some of that down.
What an absolute roller coaster of emotions, of feelings, of rounds, and we have so much to talk about. Actually, a lot of really fun stuff. So let's start with a round here from Gambit on Ascent. And the reason I want to show this is because I think that this team is one of the hardest teams to go against on a defensive round because of all the different layers that they have. So starting off, we're going to show literally every single POV. Instantly, he recognizes that there's going to be a hit here. He puts his wall down, but he rotates actually through the lane instead of going back through the boathouse and potentially getting caught off with a jet dash or something like that. Then he stops here by the stairs and Nagzet smokes him off, but Shados wants to peek in this with a flash from Sky all the way from spawn. He's going to do that, but he actually gets a golden opportunity here to stay inside of the smoke and pick off two. Meanwhile, the rest of his team is going to rejoin him, and we'll see how the rest of it goes down. Here's the flash I was talking about from Defo over top of everything, and that's when both Redgar and Shados continue to push forward. That is good teamwork right there, and he throws another one on top just to make sure if anybody peeks out the smoke at the right time, it's going to blind them. They're going to have a good advantage here. Chronicle also plays fantastic. The first thing he does is make sure that this angle's covered so that Shadows has time to recover and fall back into a better position so he can push out with the flash. Breaks Lorena Lear. Jet dashes out. He has to give up the angle at this point. He already used his dart, but instantly as the lane happens, he knows his teammates are going to buy time on the mini-map right here. He knows that they're pushing out inside of the boathouse area and inside the main area, so he has time to drone. Finds the tag, and that actually is able to swing, and his teammates are following up behind. This is an interesting thing because I want to point out the timing for Redgar. He doesn't swing right with the flash. He waits for a second, waits. Then Shadows pushes out, and that's the good timing because even, I know obviously Sova here is blind, but even if he wasn't, he's going to be looking at Shadows instead of the spawn side. So just all of these different layers makes it so hard to fight against Gambit, but KRÜ really did a good job. So I'm going to pull up another clip right here of the pistol round on Bind because this one is fantastic. You must see this. This is so cool from Viper and KRÜ entirely. I actually saw this one time from G2 way back when. They popped the smoke, Mitchman called it out, a flash comes in, and that's actually so perfect against Gambit. That doesn't get the information that they're there, and look at what Shadows is actually intending to do. He flashes through, doesn't get the info because they're in the smoke, right? So nothing happens. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get through here, and I'm gonna dog. But he gets hit with a dink, and instantly he wants to teleport with the rest of his teammates because he thinks he's unsafe. But the plan was for them to actually push and pinch bathroom. So they're caught in the middle of two different things here, and you can see on the map that I show right now, they clean up the area outside the teleporter, and the rest of the kills come very, very fast. The really nice thing is the synergy on the site. That's obviously very important. Keznet also clearing out Hookah. The timing for him important here as well. He doesn't just full out brawl out outside of Hookah double satcheling or anything like that. He waits for his team. So now look at this positioning from the Viper, and then Keznet's here inside the tube as well. They're waiting for this. He's going to swing. He gets a kill with the nade, but the way that they ping pong off of each other, he lets the Jet go past him. He knows that Keznet's there to help him, but if not, he's going to have to deal with the Sova first, and then he can go to help him. This is so nice from KRÜ. Over and over, you can see the team play aspect happen there, and just in time, even if this player kills the Keznet right here, we are actually going to have Klaus trade that. So this ends up going all the way down to elbow, but I have one more clip to show you because this was so crazy from from Chronicle. This is, of course, the ace clip, but I do want to point out real quick, this was the round. Defo pushed long and got picked right off the bat, and you had on the other side Nagzet, who was opping so phenomenally. So look at the little tiny sliver that he's actually peeking through. Wrong zoom right here. Look at the tiny sliver. That is so nice for him, and he's really not giving up much time at all. So finds the angle. He knows they're hitting because of the time that we have right here at the top. 30 seconds left. Instantly is going to dart. That's going to force everybody to look up, and he's going to wait for a shot to happen as they come out along before he swings and gets the one, and the rest is obviously history. But the timing is so good for him to swing out of that smoke. That's the important part, and that's how you get Gambit back in the game. They were almost going out of this tournament completely, but we end up seeing them in the grand finals after some impressive form.
Thank you very much, Barla. I could watch this series over and over again.
How about that clip?
Yeah.
Could you watch that over and over again?
I could literally watch every single clip in this series over and over again. In fact, I might just go back and watch it. And I'm going to show you guys a clip now. Speaking of watching it over and over again, here's the HyperX reflex. You guys are going to be pretty familiar with this. Ryan, you spoke about this already. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the fact that playing that forces people to look up, but he takes this timing of all the things, and it's really came down to some of those moments of just having to throw yourself out there. The fact that he flips around and gets Keznet here is just ridiculous, but everybody had those kind of plays, right? It's just Chronicle was the savior, I think, for Gambit.
Yeah, this round, it really just felt like it really took a bit of the wind out of the sails from the side of KRÜ. I mean, you know, they still were managing to fight back for the longest time, but if he doesn't have this moment, who knows what result we're looking at. This was literally just one of those butterfly effects things where it's like, if he doesn't get that ace right there in that round, KRÜ might have been the one celebrating on stage. It might have been, you know, Gambit going home in tears instead. But Chronicle, he's just absolutely incredible today.
Huge. Like I said, if they do go on to win it tomorrow, I don't see a world where he isn't the tournament MVP. He has to be, especially for the side of Gambit.
I think there's even an argument if that Ascend series is close, to be fair, like not to like Zeke has been incredible, bone cold and stuff, but it's just how often he bailed Gambit out from maybe an embarrassing early exit to this tournament. Like, not only has he had the composure in those moments, but it's also, I felt the rest of the team revitalized. Like, it's been another quiet series from Nats, but even he got a 4K after that. It's just, we've seen them all year, me and you, just how stoic these guys are. They don't show emotion. There's the memes of Nats gets a 4K. That is insane to watch them literally cry on stage.
Yeah.
Like, what an evolution for them overall, and just, it took everything to beat out KRÜ this tournament. It wasn't an overhype of the underdog. KRÜ were one of the top 3 teams in this tournament, for sure.
Yeah, again, like I said, I could watch this series over and over again. But, you know, we started with quite a few teams in this tournament, and we're down to just 2. The tournament bracket is looking pretty different. I would really rival anybody that would have guessed or predicted for it to be Gambit versus Ascend in the finals. Look at all the teams that didn't make it through. Liquid, Fnatic, Sentinels. I mean, all of NA, they fell, Ryan. This is crazy.
Yeah, if anybody predicted this, just tell me lottery numbers. Just throw them out there, because it's just crazy how it's come to this. And, you know, it's just a case of Team Secret being involved, X10, stuff like that. You couldn't have really asked for a better bracket to come in together. Sure, like, for us, EMEA Grand Final is great, but what it cost absolutely everything, I think. Like, KRÜ have won me over and a lot of others.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you could have possibly predicted what was going to happen along the way. Even if you said Gambit Ascend could be in the grand final, it's the in-between stuff that was so impossible to predict.
Well, we had an exciting day already today, but tomorrow we have more excitement. That's right, we have an opening ceremony for you guys featuring Paris, Rez, Zed, and Gravis Chronicle was referencing that song. I can't wait to see that song being played. Make sure you meet us back here tomorrow for 9 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. CET, and 2 a.m. JST for all of the action. I want to get your predictions, guys, for tomorrow, because sadly, I'm not going to get you guys on the desk with me. Who's taking the grand finals?
Don't make me choose between the
I'm
two.
making you
like,
two choose.
The mental of Gambit and
flip.
just how dominant Ascend, how clean it has been from Ascend. We all win. I think I'm going to go for Ascend, because I think they have been underestimated a little bit in this tournament, and I think it's winnable for sure, especially in a best of 5.
Oh, this is not a... You know
you
what?
can't say Vision Strikers.
I went no, out of left field. I went against Ryan at the beginning of this, saying KRÜ, and you know, it's still an absolute treat of a series. But this time, I'll agree with him. I think that Ascend have got it. I think that they've gotten over their stage jitters. They look absolutely incredible, and I think that they're going to be able to take this.
It's going to be insane. It's
I
going to be
love it.
such an insane fight.
And even if we're wrong, who cares?
Honestly, we've had everything already. I just feel spoiled. We get a front row seat to one of the best tournaments ever. But thank you so much, Yuta, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to the casters and the desk before as well. Like I said, we're going to be back for the grand finals of VALORANT Champions tomorrow. You don't want to miss this. We'll see you then.
Hearts and minds are set on hoisting that Champions Trophy tomorrow. It's Team Liquid, it's Ascend, stepping out onto that semifinal stage. Spirits look high on both sides. That's what you want to see, as they promised what will be an epic bout. And we're hoping it goes the distance. Okay.
Bo, bo, bo!
Spike down A. Spike planted. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down B. Enemy down. One enemy
Liquid's hot run, the undefeated run, has been crushed by Ascend, and they're going to go into that grand finals looking at that trophy, and they're going to feel it in their hands.
Well, Gambit has been the team that have ended so many underdog stories, X10 Vikings, but will they do that to KRÜ today?
You couldn't ask for a better matchup when it comes to where they are in the world and also their styles.
This is incredible. And they're not even watching as he comes up. Nats turning to see it, and another headshot delivered.
No.
One shot is all that's needed for Chronicle. A 4K for him, an ace for Kesnan. There you go.
Don't put my face on that one.
Nice! Oh, but he connects them both! The spray down is clean!
Enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
18-16, the defending champions take it across the line. Gambit are going to the grand final.
Do you remember your first time seeing the impossible?
We have finally seen it all line up in the end. Oh, Songs! Oh, no! What is
It's the moment we've all been waiting for, an epic confrontation.
This is history in the making.